Welcome back to Catalyst Grid. I'm Kingsley Emufua. Today we move from the foundations into the front lines, risk identification and analysis. This is where the real work of project controls begins. Identification is the most critical phase. You cannot manage what you haven't found. It is the bedrock of project control and the starting point for all strategic value optimization. If you miss a risk here, it will find you later. We begin with a classic but powerful starting point for any project manager looking to map their landscape. The SWOT framework. It's simple, effective, and essential. SWOT allows us to look inward first. Strengths and weaknesses are internal factors. A highly experienced scheduling team or proprietary tech is a strength. A tight project budget or a lack of specialized resources is a weakness. Then we look outward. Opportunities and threats are external. New technology might be an opportunity to accelerate your timeline, while local permit delays or global material shortages are clear threats we must account for. The real value in SWOT isn't just making the list, it's using it to align your internal capabilities with external realities. This is where we begin to turn simple observation into a strategic risk management plan. To provide a truly 360-degree view, especially on complex infrastructure projects, we must employ the PESTLE analysis. This ensures nothing slips through the cracks. Political risks cover more than just civil stability. We track upcoming elections, changes in national infrastructure priority, or potential shifts in trade agreements that could disrupt our global supply chain. Economic factors are the backbone of project finance. We must model the impacts of interest rate hikes, local currency volatility against our procurement currencies, and the rising tide of global inflation on our material costs. Social factors involve demographics and labor market trends. Are we building in an area with a skilled labor shortage? How do local community expectations and public perception influence our ability to deliver on time? Technological risks track the speed of innovation. The adoption of digital twins or automation might be an opportunity, but the risk of current tech becoming obsolete midway through a long-term build is a significant threat. Legal factors are non-negotiable. We must identify risks in planning permits, health and safety legislation, and employment law across every jurisdiction to ensure the project remains in continuous compliance. Finally, environmental factors focus on sustainability targets and climate resilience. We model the risks of extreme weather events and the impact of evolving carbon reporting requirements on our project baseline. With these frameworks established, we need the right techniques to physically uncover the risks. It's a mix of rigorous science and seasoned experience. Structured brainstorming is our workhorse. We facilitate sessions where cross-functional leads challenge each other to find the unknown unknowns before they find us on the critical path. For high-sensitivity areas, we use expert interviewing. One-on-one sessions with senior leads often uncover nuanced risks that people might be hesitant to share in a large, public workshop setting. Historical checklists are our collective memory. We review databases of previous failures and successes at DC Nordics. If it happened on Project A 5 years ago, there is a statistical probability it could happen on Project B today. A risk is just a symptom. To manage it effectively and find the right value engineering opportunity, we must find the root cause. The fishbone diagram is our primary tool here. It forces us to categorize potential causes, ensuring we don't just treat the effect, like a schedule delay, but the actual source. Is the root cause of a delay a lack of local permit experience or a vendor manufacturing bottleneck? The entire response plan changes based on that answer. Getting this right is vital for accuracy. For major, high-impact risks, we use the bow tie method to visualize our entire control landscape. It shows the board exactly how we are protected. On the left, we map the threats and the barriers we put in place to prevent the risk. On the right, we map the consequences and the recovery steps needed to minimize damage if the risk occurs. This method provides total visibility. A weak bow tie with missing barriers signals a project in danger. As a scheduler, your logic must reflect these barriers and recovery paths. Now, every risk, root cause, and barrier needs a structured home. That home is the risk register, the most important document in your project controls kit. A master register records the why, the root cause, and the trigger, the specific event that tells us the risk is now active. We also categorize by impact. Is it a cost risk, a schedule risk, or both? Crucially, we assign a risk owner. They are the single individual responsible for monitoring the trigger and executing the response. We also track residual risk, what is left after our barriers are in place. Without a clear owner and a measured residual risk, your register is just a wish list. Accountability is what transforms data into actual deliverability on the ground. Never skip this step. To ensure complete coverage across the entire project, we organize our identified risks into a risk breakdown structure, or RBS. It provides the necessary structure. The RBS is a hierarchical representation of project risks grouped by category. It prevents us from missing entire classes of risk, like management risks or commercial risks that often hide in the background. By drilling down into subcategories, we prompt the team to think specifically. Instead of general tech risk, we identify requirement stability or API integration lag. Specificity leads to better control. Not all risk data is created equal. To avoid garbage in, garbage out, we must assess the quality of our risk information before we analyze it. We evaluate each entry for its reliability and integrity. Is the data based on current market rates or a 5-year-old estimate? High-quality decisions require high-quality, up-to-date inputs. This step filters out optimism bias and ensures the risk register reflects objective reality, not stakeholder wishes. As a scheduler, this is your primary gatekeeping role to protect the baseline. Identification and analysis must lead back to the project baseline. Risk and schedule are inseparable. A schedule without risk is just a dream. We must model how an identified risk ripples through the project's logic. If task A is delayed by a weather risk, what happens to the subsequent logic-linked task B and the overall critical path? This allows us to size our project buffers correctly. We move from arbitrary contingency to data-justified schedule protection based on the statistical sum of our identified threats. For high-stakes decisions, we move into quantitative simulation. This is where we model our what-ifs to provide the board with confidence levels. We model thousands of project iterations to understand the probability of hitting our baseline date and budget. We move from I hope to the data shows an 80% confidence level. Sensitivity analysis tells us which single variable has the biggest impact on our project's success. This allows the lead scheduler to focus management attention on the true project shifters. Risk identification is only as good as the people involved. We must identify and engage the right stakeholders from the very start. We map stakeholders by their influence and interest. Those with high influence but low interest are often the ones who hold the most unknown unknowns regarding external project dependencies. Conflicting expert opinions are normal. As a lead scheduler, your role is to facilitate the discussion, bringing objectivity and data to reach a consensus score that everyone signs off on. Let's look at a practical example from Project Fulcrum regarding a hidden geological risk and how our identification process saved the timeline. Our SWOT flagged an internal material supply weakness, but the bowtie analysis on our foundation risk uncovered a missing barrier in our geological survey data, a critical blind spot. We identified the lack of survey depth as the true root cause. By adding an additional survey phase, we prevented a potential 5-month delay before construction even began. That is identification in action. Rigorous identification is the essential bridge to value engineering. You cannot optimize costs until you fully understand the risks you are trying to mitigate or transfer. Today was a true deep dive. Remember to use SWOT and PESTLE for visibility and never stop at the effect. Always find the root cause to treat the source. Use bowtie mapping and the RBS for structure and validate every single project assumption as a latent risk that needs to be managed. Finally, ground your analysis in quantitative simulation and integrate those results directly into your project baseline for total, data-driven schedule protection. In our next episode, we look at risk response and monitoring. Subscribe to stay in control and protect your project margin with smarter strategies. My name is Kingsley Amafua, your host. Master your risks, master your value.